While Bitcoin is right now extremely boring, there are millions of dollars worth of liquidity being built up above us. And while this is exactly happening, I need to discuss the most important charts on Bitcoin right now here, because we are literally right now preparing for a major breakout, which is set to be coming anytime soon here. And on today's update video, I'm going to be exactly talking about this chart, what I am currently exactly seeing on the minute short term for Bitcoin, what am I seeing if I'm starting to zoom out on Bitcoin, and what is my bigger perspective on this wider potential W pattern which we're currently creating, and what is my opinion on this potential W double bottom scenario on Bitcoin which we're currently creating. I'm gonna be exactly talking about this, the most important news which right now hit the market in the last 24 hours, and much more important stuff here. So don't forget to once again snap on that like button back above 1,000 likes will be highly appreciated, and let me jump straight away in towards today's update video. So to kick off the video, I straight away want to be going in towards this chart, which is basically revealing the fact that the Bitcoin top is likely not to be in yet here. I mean, I see a lot of people being afraid that Bitcoin bull market is over, but actually most of the charts are right now still revealing us the market top isn't in yet here. And if we're going to be going to the CoinGlass website and looking at the bull market peak indicators, there are about 30 of them. 0 of the 30 indicators have right now showed us that the Bitcoin bull market top is in yet. And that is why I still remain to believe that we are likely going to be going higher. And of course, at the same time, while it is currently weekend, we are still seeing extremely negative funding rates hitting the markets everywhere. And ultimately, historically speaking, whenever we do see extremely negative funding rates across the border, it tends to historically mean that we are creating a bottom in the market. And for the ones that don't know what funding rates mean here, they basically mean that the majority of the traders are right now trading short, and it's on Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also on most of the other altcoins at this moment of time. Then talking quickly about the most important news here, we right now got the news that South Korea is going to be backing off and is not going to be finding Trump his tariffs. Of course, ultimately that is going to be great here. And of course, we got the news that the US inflation is dropping even harder than expected. And Trump, of course, wants to have the rate cuts to come in as soon as possible. And of course, he is pressuring Powell to do so. So rate cuts are likely to come anytime soon here. And of course, whenever rate cuts do come, it is going to be ultimately sending the markets much higher. I mean, we already have the consensus that, of course, the global money supply is increasing quite heavily again here. And Bitcoin usually tends to be following the global money supply. And right now, the forecast for the global money supply is that it is going quite exponential. And that is ultimately going to be, of course, quite great for the entire market. And ultimately, Bitcoin is going to be following it. And for the ones that get bored with Bitcoin right now, there's not a lot of things happening. It's indeed very boring. But in these boring times, there is usually when the big opportunities occur. And it's all about time in the market and not about exactly timing the market. So really for Bitcoin, if you want to be having a low risk strategy, in my opinion, is to just hold it for 5 years or to just hold it for 10 years. That is at least how I started with Bitcoin, and that is how I managed to build the majority of my wealth by just holding my positions for the longer term. So that is of course very exciting. Then of course, if I'm looking at Bitcoin and crypto right now here, there is an insane amount of liquidity being built up above us, around that $86,000 region. And to be exact, there are more than $300 million worth of Bitcoin short liquidations around that region. So whenever Bitcoin is going to be breaking above that 86K level, which is that previous range high in the market, we're going to be probably seeing a big short squeeze getting triggered, and that it potentially could be causing Bitcoin to be once again starting to be breaking out here. I mean, right now, still clearly, we are creating lower highs every single time on the top side, and Bitcoin just continuously is creating lower highs every single time, together with lower lows on the lower side. So we're ultimately still trading in the downtrend, but like you can see in this trend right now, we're starting to create somewhat of a rounding bottom structure. And if you go to the higher time frames, you can even argue, if you're looking at the 3-day time frame, oh wait, we are right now creating a double bottom scenario. And of course, if we are creating a double bottom scenario, this potentially would mean that whenever we do break above 86 or 87,000 US dollars, we're breaking back above the downtrend, and then we could be in for a major reversal. And honestly, in these bull markets before as well, we have seen many 20 to 30% corrections. It's just a very normal thing to be getting. And most people are usually afraid whenever they do see these corrections, they are afraid to be buying. But I can not guarantee you, of course, but whenever, this is at least the trade that I am currently taking, whenever we're going to be breaking above the range high, and I've said this so many times already, which is 87,000 US dollars approximately, we are going to be flipping the downtrend. And it's going to be likely that we're probably going to be moving up all the way up towards the top side of the region again here. I mean, we've got the big hype, the run up towards $100,000. All the people that were hyped up bought in. Now they've been selling, they've been distributing, and actually if we're looking at these charts as well here, the Bitcoin hash rate is going absolutely exponential, and historically whenever this does grow so quickly, the price tends to be following quickly as well here. And I mean, we do see the global liquidity also increasing. Those are all signals and indicators that right now is likely telling us the market is going to be pushing towards the upside, and that just gets myself very excited. I mean, on the 3-day time frame we still have this downtrend to play against, but ultimately Bitcoin, what I'm going to be looking at is of course for this downtrend to get broken, and whenever we break above this trend right here, which is going to be the 88 or 89,000 US dollars, I think we're going to be in for a bigger reversal, and I'm already preparing my positions for quite a while on Bitcoin, but especially also on Ethereum, because I do believe Ethereum is going to be one of the greater performance in the next run up towards the upside. And let me explain you why here. First of all, Ethereum is quite heavily oversold at this moment of time here. We can see it on multiple charts. It is just heavily oversold at this moment of time here. But at the same time, just like Bitcoin did in 2020, we had an insane liquidity grab before we went absolutely bananas. We absolutely went skyrocketed towards the upside. This is exactly what is happening with Ethereum right now here. We're grabbing the liquidity. If you're looking for the Ethereum against Bitcoin pair, we've never been so oversold. We're back at the historical support box of 2020. We're right now at the lower side of the reaccumulation phase here, and literally at the starting point where the bull market of 2023 started at. So ultimately, a better opportunity is probably not going to be occurring itself right now here. And if you're looking at the Bitcoin dominance right now here, it is literally sitting against its supply zone. And if I'm going to be doing a deep dive right now in towards the Bitcoin dominance, I'm going to be quickly opening up the chart. You can start to see on the Bitcoin dominance, we're still pushing higher and higher consistently, but I believe this trend which we're currently in here is starting to weaken. And really, if you're also zooming out on the bigger perspective, usually whenever this trend weakens, it drops quite hard here. So you can see here the seasonality basically for altcoins. Major altcoin season, Bitcoin season, altcoin season, Bitcoin season. What is likely going to be happening next? It is going to be altcoin season. And with, of course, more altcoins, which are greater and greater than before, coming around right now here, it is literally sitting at this very big supply zone. I won't be surprised that this is a very great zone for Ethereum and of course also a lot of other altcoins to be actually perform very well here. So I've been also building up big positions on Ethereum, mainly on my spot, but also with leverage on Bybit, Pionex, Blofin, many of these exchanges. Right now on Pionex, I've got a very great strategy set up here, which you can exactly copy. This is a trading bot on Ethereum that buys along the way down here, all the way down to $1,100, $1,200. It's going to be consistently buying here in towards these positions. And whenever it's going to be going up here to $2,500 US dollars, it's going to be consistently selling its position. So this is one of the best trading opportunities I right now have in mind here. I think Ethereum is going to be performing very well, and you can exactly copy my trading strategy right now here if you go to the highest description of today's video. So if you feel like copying any of these trades, go to the link description of today's video, because it's definitely very valuable, and I believe I'm going to be printing a lot of money with this trading strategy as time is going to continue, because I do believe this is one of the best opportunities right now we are getting in this market. So very convinced. I've put a lot of money where my mouth is, obviously. And for Bitcoin on the imminent short term, we're creating, of course, still that CME gap, but there's not a lot of stuff happening right now in the moment of time, right, for Bitcoin. So that is why I did this deep dive in towards these altcoins. But of course, you can see the 3-day MACD is also crossing bullish. Historically, this is always corresponded with major continuations towards the upside. So anyways, this was it for me in today's update video. If you did enjoy it, if you did like the video, slap on the like button, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.